So welcome. Very firstly, thank you very much for doing this today. Having a sit-down chat with League Secretary Liam Bradley. Liam, welcome to number three of the podcasts.
Yep, very disappointed I wasn't number one. But sure, things, that's the way it is.
That's
No, I'm happy enough.
that's
Anyways,
that's you, Liam. You are obsessed with being number one when it comes to darts, and now obsessed with being number one on the podcast.
yep.
How's things? How are you coping through COVID lockdown?
Spot on, all good. Last weekend with a bit of a setback with my nanny passing away, but
Yeah,
apart from that, all's been good. Family's all right. We're all keeping doing what we're told, so
good.
staying in and only
That's
going out when we have to.
yeah. Obviously, with Ashleen at home, you just have to be extra careful
Yep,
with.
yep. Change the type 1 diabetic, so everything's going good. We've already had medical people on to us just telling us what to look out for and all, so everything's good at the minute. So.
Super stuff. Um, so I'm actually this is a strange one because um, I probably hyped up you coming on to have a chat with me too much, but I was actually more excited about it the most because there's so much stuff that I suppose over the years Liam Bradley has been uh, hung out as the public enemy number one in darts, and
I have, yeah.
it's a good opportunity for you to in some of those stories, if we do cross them, give your side of the argument or story, and just obviously to recount some of the things that have happened in darts over the years. So we'll go back to the beginning with you. Obviously, I don't want to. We did have a quick chat in the lead up to this, and you said you didn't want to recount everything you'd won because we'd be here all night. But let's have a quick recap on how you get into darts. Firstly, I suppose.
My dad got me into the darts. Dad and Damien used to always throw away in the front room, and then one rainy day there was nothing to do, so I just went in and started throwing darts with them. So that was about 29 years ago. So the following year, at 14 years of age, I was playing darts for the Armagh Down Bar, Monaghan Street, which at 14, my dad was only taking me to home games, so it wasn't. So he didn't want to probably be getting into the away games and being refused entry. So it was just into the Armagh Down, bottle of brown lemonade and a glass of ice, and up straight up the stairs, and that was me before the night.
So throwing, and we've seen, in fairness, we've seen that across a few years, like the likes of, I know we mentioned before, the young Kilgallons and a few
Yep.
others throwing from a young age. Um, how did that, like, how did you get the bite to become so heavily involved in darts over time then? So you must have
It just got
enjoyed it.
very addictive. I did. It just got very 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 addictive, and I just loved it. Like so, Damien used to go to the darts with my dad. Dad would have took him to away games and just took me and Damien then to the home games. So I played 11 games that season, and I was lucky enough I won them. I won them all. But
And
the team got to the final of the Knockout Cup that year, and it was an away game, and I didn't get to go and play, but they won. So I was happy enough.
and people wouldn't, Damien might thank me, but people wouldn't realise that Damien was actually throwing darts before you then.
Well, Damien played the season before. Him and my dad won the pairs the season before I started throwing. Damien was only 15 when he won the. It was the sectional pairs at the time. Damien and my dad won the sectional pairs. Damien was 15 at the time. So
He's been about a long time, Damien, and I have to say your Damien is one of my best muckers in darts. Is I enjoy everything about his crack and his love of the game, and even when we're doing the commentary together, he's always a great bit of crack. So good shout out to him. So you
yeah,
moved on from the Armagh down.
Quins and Camla. Second year ever through darts. Just only played the half a season with the Armagh down all the home games. Second season I went to Quins and Camla. But they were up a division. They were in the second division. I started off in the third, then I went up into the second. Good team there as well. Then from Quins and Camla, I went to Crenchigo. Probably played most of my darts up in Crenchigo, up with the wee tin shade that used to be up there at the crossroads.
Yeah, yeah. Had some teams up there. I remember seeing a photo
With some,
not so long ago with yourself, Niall McVary, Billy Haven, Noel,
yeah, Jakey Campbell played with us up there as well. Jakey's
Jakey.
a good dart thrower. Jakey actually won the individuals playing for us.
Yeah, Jakey's
Then,
a name that actually came up in a conversation. I was talking with a man yesterday about darts, and he came up in a conversation to say that Jakey Campbell with a certain amount of liquid confidence in him, but only a certain amount, was up there in the top three men he's ever seen playing darts in Newry.
He was very good. I was lucky enough. I seen him the season that he won the individuals, and he was untouchable. Like,
Yeah,
he was very, very good. I was lucky enough. I've played with some great players. Like,
you have.
so then I played for 2 or 3 years in Crenchigo, and then the forms were out, and we were sitting in the house one day. I think I just turned 18 at the time, and there was a knock at the door, and I went out, and it was Tom Hockey Senior and Kevin Woods were standing at the front door talking. They were talking away to my dad. My dad called us. My dad was a big Crenchigo man. He didn't really want us to leave Crenchigo, like, but the Bears at the time were the Premier League champions, and to be asked to sign for them, like, by the likes of Kevin Woods and Tom Hockey Senior was a great honour. Like, so me and Damien signed for them, and that season, well, we played 2 seasons up in the Bears, and both seasons we won the Tom Hockey Cup and the Premier League. So
I wouldn't like
it's
to
very good.
I wouldn't like to try and count the amount of photos that you have with the Tom Hockey Cup. There's one
But
of
lucky enough, I think I've been in 13 finals and won at 11 teams.
yeah.
So
It's a it's
it's
a
very, it's
it's
been
a
very lucky. Like.
it's a record that's probably only matched by one or two others in Newry, if even that.
Well, I know Martin Chiarva, let's say, would have more, but there wouldn't be too many. Well, I suppose back in the day, like when you had the Gaelic and the Hillbillies and all, the McCabe's, Kevin Woods probably is more, Jerry Matthews, them sort of players, but probably still throwing myself and Martin. Noel would have a brave few now as well.
You would, yeah.
Probably still throwing weight of the most. Like.
I
Noel
know.
won the Tom Hockey last year with the Hibs. I wasn't part of that team.
No, you more recent seasons you've
Up
decided to
and down.
take a step back from the Premier League. What led to that for you? Because
I was
you
thrown
played me a few weeks
20.
ago on a Friday night and destroyed me. So
That's just practice. Nothing else I can do in this COVID is practice. I'll tell you what it was. I was playing for the Hibs 2 seasons ago, and we won the league and the Tom Hockey. But I would have always went to McGuigan's to lift up the result cards and all, and met a great bunch of lads: Joey McGill, Tommy O'Hanlon, Anto McGill, with Dusty O'Hagan, and they were saying they were going to start a wee team up for charity.
hmm
So they were going to start it up. Maybe girls are type 1 diabetic, and they were saying, because maybe girls sometimes would have come down with me to lift the result cards, they were saying they wouldn't mind doing it for type 1 diabetes. So the wee group that she's in.
yeah,
And then there's an old fella plays for us, Brian Campbell. His cousin passed away, and the Bales took him home. Respiration, they took him home. So we decided. So they asked me what I signed for them, and if they done it for charity. So they done it for charity, and we raised near 30 grand. So we did. So
yeah. It was
which was
a
brilliant in one season of darts.
yeah, a week in week out
Yeah,
fundraising event. So it was
yeah.
all
Any
done.
money, any prize money you were won or anything, all went into the kitty. Like, and then we sold wee tickets every week, and there was most of the teams in the Newry Dart League, including your own boys, all got involved and bought tickets of us, and
Yeah, I know
we were
that.
very, very grateful to everyone.
Yeah, I know that there was a lot of teams, certainly towards the end of that year, donated some of their prize money as well, to that
They did,
which was great.
they did, they did. Yeah.
Um, so y you've been secretary of the Newry League for 14, coming on 15 years.
No, this is my 14th season.
This is your
Now this
14th
will be,
season.
and it's probably been the most hectic one yet with this carry on, but we'll
Yeah,
get through it.
and so
14, how that was a straight. You're going to ask me here how that came about.
I am, yeah, because it's a strange one to like. I know you've, don't get me wrong. I know you've been about darts a long time, but um, I suppose the role of secretary, Barney being infamous, being secretary for many years prior to you, how did it come about that you were sort of assumed in that
Uh,
role?
the Hibs had there was the 10 mile radius was still intact at that time. They were still doing the 10 mile radius,
Uh-huh.
and there was a couple of boys playing for the Hibs A team, uh, Noel McMahon and Simon Wicks, who were coming down from Dundalk, and we had a couple playing on our team, Tony Fenton and Andrew McShane, who were coming from O'Meath, and Tony was coming from Dundalk. But with the 10 mile radius, even the first half of the season, it wasn't a problem. But the longer the season went on, Barney started taking 2 points off the teams anytime he seen Simon, Noel on the Hibs team or Tony and Andrew's name on our sheet, started taking 2 points off the team, off the team. So there was a few meetings called during the season, up towards the end of it, that we're going to have to try and do away with this radius. Like, it wasn't helping the league. Like, we were stopping good players from coming into the league, which we didn't want to do. Like, but there was a few meetings called, and people were going to be voted on in different positions on the committee, and I was just meant to be voted on as a normal committee member. But the night of the AGM, Tommy Mooney decided to put his hand up and propose me as secretary. And I sort of looked at him and he winked at me and says, "You'll be all right." I'm doing it ever since.
And you're doing it ever since.
I'm doing it ever since. Unfortunately, don't get me wrong, the first year was hard. But fair play to Barney. Barney actually contacted me 3 or 4 times during that season and always said to me, if you ever needed anything, and give me a bit of advice, and never ever fell out with over it, because a few years before I was voted on as secretary, my dad was doing chairman of the league, so I became friends with Barney sort of that way. Like,
yeah. Aye, so you knew you had a good relationship there before you took the role on.
I would have read out fixture sheets and all for him. My dad would have took them home and I would have read them out, and Barney knew that it was me that was writing them out. Like, so never ever fell out with Barney over it, or Barney never fell out with us over it. So I'm doing it ever since.
How difficult is it being the secretary of the league?
It is. It's hard sometimes. It's grown men sometimes can go on like children. That's to be honest. Over the silliest wee thing. Like, he was coughing, he was clicking a glass. He was, something. You get some strange people. You get some strange things ringing you. Like, on a Friday night, I would have to turn my phone off because I would get phone calls up until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Well,
so
I suppose that's part of the problem, but yeah.
It is, but it was proposed at a meeting a few years ago that nobody was to ring me after 9:30. You still get the odd phone call if there's something. If there's something, it has to be something really serious for somebody to ring you after 9:30. But apart from that, it's been grand this last couple of years.
What would be, so obviously 14 years doing it's a long time, and over that 14 years there's been numerous ins and outs and ups and downs in all divisions, right? So what, in your memory, if you have any that stand out, what would be like what would be we'll go firstly with the strangest or funniest thing you've had to sort out, and then we'll go with the most serious. So let's go with the funniest.
I wasn't secretary at the time, but I can remember one that'll stand out. I don't know. You can ask John Morgan, Mufti, about it. I remember Mufti was chairman of the league, and it was the year or two after my dad had stepped down as chairman, and Mufti had to come up to the house. Barney sent Mufti up to the house to warn my dad for throwing his darts too quick. There was a letter put into the box for Q Bradley, was throwing his darts too quick at the board. So I remember that. So Mufti had to come up, and he was in. We actually answered the door, and he says to me, "Liam, can I speak to your father?" And I was saying, "Yeah." So I called Dad out of the back kitchen, and Dad took Mufti into the living room, and Mufti's standing there going all red and said, "I'm up here as chairman of the league. I'm up here to just say that you're getting a verbal warning for throwing your darts too quick."
Well, I suppose.
So my dad sort of looked at him a few effed and blinds later, but
yeah,
they were laughing about it. Like, but
of course,
that was probably
I would give Mufti his due, and even having the confidence to go and have that conversation with somebody. But so
no, I did. I've talked to Mufti a few times about it. He says he felt embarrassed about it, but it was something as chairman. If there's a complaint, the way we work it is that even now still, if there's a complaint come in, you have to look at it. Like, so.
Yeah, and so what about like the most serious thing that you've had to deal with as a committee, of course, not just as secretary, but as a committee?
Probably involved in your own team a couple of seasons ago. You probably know it well with the Indo.
Yeah.
It's probably just a miscommunication on both, but
there was a lot. There was, in fairness, at that time there was a lot of animosity over what people call a gentleman's agreement, rather than following process, and that's where the breakdown was.
As a committee, nobody. For the listeners, I'll explain it. Boyd's and the Indo agreed with a gentleman's agreement. The two captains supposedly agreed to call a fixture off that was in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I think it was yourselves, Mihal, that was looking the game off.
Yep.
but nobody ever contacted the league to say that the game was going to be called off. Nobody on the committee, like, it's in the rules that the secretary has to be informed that the league's going to be off.
Yeah.
So it would have been in the fixtures, game off to replayed when.
Whatever it may have been. Yeah.
And nobody ever contacted. So I was at my own darts that night and I got a phone call at about 9:45, say, we're standing in Boyd's here and there's nobody here. And then just all escalated from then. But with the way it was in the rules, the Indo were awarded the 2 points. So,
Yeah.
there's a lot of waters went under the bridge from that, but it was sorted.
Absolutely.
I was stuck right in the middle of that because I was captain. That was the only season I played for the Hibs. I was captain of the Hibs team, and we were sitting top of the league that year. And I think Boyd's were a point behind us, and the Indo were a further 3 points behind them. And
it was interesting the way it played out that
when
year.
It got to the committee, when it got to the committee decision, I had a conflict of interest. I didn't even go up the stairs into the room, so sort of stayed out of it. Like, so the boys decided that because nobody from Boyd's contacted the committee, the result stood.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and it can happen on more than like that occasion. I suppose that occasion was there was a lot of personal animosity there for people who felt they had been sort of undone by people not or telling the truth or not telling the truth, and
yeah.
the problem is, I suppose, as we all have as grown men, we all carry a wee chip on our shoulder if you feel that you've been done over by someone. So I can understand why that would have been difficult for any committee to deal with, because you had two sides of the same coin, where people knew and understood the situation, but there's also a process to follow as a committee, which is difficult, and even more difficult if you're involved with the league, you know.
Yeah, if that process isn't there could be teams calling the games off all the time, and then we'll be sitting down there on a Saturday getting result cards in, and there'll be a result card out in, and we'll not know if that game's not called off. Or, so at least if we know if we're going there Saturday, opening the box at 5 o'clock, that we'll know they expect, right, there's 23 cards to be in here, right, there's 25 cards to be in here this week. So
just that was
probably the hardest. That was probably the hardest.
Well, it's
because I have friends playing on both teams, like, who have played with over the years. And
yeah, and as you say, your own conflict of interest in not wanting to get involved. One that's always niggled at me that I would love to get your insight from, and it's niggled at me for years, probably because the rumour mill was so strong at the time about it, what happened, and the recriminations of it all and whatnot, was obviously the Nummies Clockmore incident, the infamous incident. I can't even remember how long ago was that now. 6 years? 6 years ago?
It wasn't the Clockmore. It was the first and last.
Sorry, the first and last. But it was.
It was the majority. It was the majority of the. It was the majority of the Clockmore team.
In that team at the time.
We're in that team. Yeah, Alexa, Christie, McCartan,
Spar, and Wee Meehall, maybe. Whatever.
Wee Meehall, and that was in it. But us as a committee, Damien Quinn, who was the first and last captain at the time, contacted us to say that they had a function that Friday that they didn't want to call the game off. So we were saying, right, what are you going to do? So he says, I'm going to contact the captain of the Nummies A team, which I think was Willie Nummy, and let him know that we'll play the game early. Or ask him, like, can we play the game early?
Yeah.
So I says, right, sure. As long as the result card's in the box the following day, we had no problem with it.
Yeah.
But the committee had no problem with it. But Damien rang us back to say that they had agreed to play the game at 8 o'clock.
Right.
So that was all right. Everybody went to their darts that night. Apparently they landed out there at 8 o'clock. There was only one person in the Huntermoor. So they waited and waited. Then apparently somebody else came in. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was Sean or Johnny or Andrew or Alan or whoever it was, and says no, that the game is going to go ahead as planned at 9:30, 9:45. So with the first and last having to go to the function, I think they just stopped sticks and left and said, right, so we'll see what happens. So they put a letter into the committee. Both of them put a letter into the committee.
Yeah.
And the first and last had got proof. They had proof to say that the game was agreed to be played at 8 o'clock. They were showing text messages and all from ones like that was high up in the Nummies team,
Hmm.
like captain, vice captain, to say that the game was agreed to be played at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So the way nobody received any points for it, the way we just said, well, if you couldn't agree to play it yourselves, the committee just decided that the result just went in as null and void.
Mm.
So
So, in that
don't get me
scenario,
wrong, like Nummies then released a statement. They released a statement. They sent me a indication first that they were going to withdraw from the league,
yeah.
and I did. I rang two or three of them,
Hmm.
tried my best to talk them out of it.
Yeah.
Next thing, we bought the newspaper the following week, and it was in the back page of the newspaper. I still have the newspapers. I actually kept both of them. The whole back page,
Framed
whole
them.
back page spread. I did. I just kept them. I kept them. It was something that says I'm going to keep this because people will not believe this, like in years to come. So I kept both papers, the Newry Reporter and the Newry Democrat, and there was a big back page spread. Nummies withdraw from Newry Dart League, and then their statement. So then we released a statement in the following week's newspaper,
Yeah.
and then in the meantime, Nummies had missed another cup game that Wednesday night that was meant to be played the Wednesday, and then another league game the following Friday.
Yeah.
So we put in our statement that we reluctantly accept your withdrawal from the league. Uh, 2 weeks later, we were playing a league game up in Boyd's, and I was sitting, me and Mickey White were the two captains of the both teams. I was playing for McCoy's at the, no, who was I playing? I was playing for Trainers at the time. And I received a phone call from somebody from Nummies saying that they were going to come back into the league 2 weeks after withdrawing and missing all their fixtures and all this here, but they were more or less that a proposition for us. We'll come back into the league if we're allowed to play the first and last again. We're allowed to play the cup game that we've missed, and we're allowed to play the league game tonight's league game that they had missed. So I says, well, you'll have to put a letter in. I just can't say yes. So there was a letter. There was a letter put in to the committee, and the committee decided with what went on the previous 2 weeks on social media and with the stuff that was being in the newspapers and all that sort of stuff, that we would just contact them and say that we would like them to come back next year, but for this year it was done.
And
So
so that led obviously to what we now know as Newry Area. I think it's
Dart League,
called
yeah.
Newry Area Dart League, the formation of it, which also had a bit of controversy in it at the time because the people who were setting that up when some of the committee members of the Newry and District Darts League, which is the Dart League that we are affiliated with and through, were going out for their yearly contact of sponsors that some
Had
of the
already been
had
had
been.
already been contacted.
Yeah, is that so? Is that true? Did that or was that a
Yeah,
vicious
yeah,
rumor?
it did, yeah. No. There was some of it was true. There was more rumours put out than there actually was, but there was two or three sponsors that we went to
Yeah,
saying, right, that we're good sponsors that were with us for years, and we're saying, well, we've already been contacted by such and such saying that there's a new league starting and all this here, a new fresh league, and what we didn't. At the end of the day, we didn't lose anybody over it. So,
yeah. And
oh,
we lost. Well, we didn't lose team numbers. At the time, obviously, players like
we lost some great players,
some great players,
without a doubt.
like Martin Carville, Desi Burhead,
Yeah,
the two Moorheads, Desi and Terry, good lads, Morris Berry, and I'm talking specifically about teams from Nummies, because to be honest, the formation of the All League,
Johnny McWilliams, Andrew
Andrew
Bridges,
Bridges, the yeah, like
Alan McNate,
Alan McKnight
some
was
great
it an
players.
individuals winner at that time, was he?
He
Like
was
he
the two,
had,
he won it in 2013.
yeah.
This
So
all happened. This all happened the following year.
yeah, so like it was as far as controversy goes, as long as I've been in the Dart League, and I would say, like, I would agree with you in how and again, from personal opinion, as personal opinion only, right? And this is me being a bit sitting on the fence a bit with everybody. If I'm on the committee of that, which thankfully I'm not, my opinion is always, look, can the game be replayed in a certain amount of time? Now, obviously, with the Nummy situation, it couldn't have been. She had 3 weeks worth of games to be played.
Yeah,
So
and with the stuff that was put into the paper and all, and then like there was people on the committee getting vicious phone calls and all at all hours, like saying watch your back and watch yourself and all.
yeah,
Like
it had gone too
we
far.
we're doing this voluntary. Like nobody's gaining out of this in any shape or form. Like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So
yeah.
and then there was when it started getting to that there extreme, like it started getting too far. But
Do you think
the
the league?
Nummies
Do you think the league lost out for a year or two when that happened in terms of
they pulled their
competition, like
Nummies
competitiveness?
Nummies pulled the team out of the league. But we still let their players and individuals, but the committee still let their players and individuals to continue on.
Yeah,
So they did, and they did, and but they continued on for the rest of the season. Morris Barry and Daisy Muirhead got to the final of the Open Pairs that year. So they did. So, but they continued right on to the end. They had a couple of individuals got to the semi-final of the individuals.
yeah,
But most of the players, Darren Cure was playing for Nummies at that time, but he never went to the A League.
yeah.
Morton went for a year or two and came back.
Hmm.
Thankfully, now with Alan McNeat back,
Do you,
wee Willie Grafton's back. Hopefully, I would hear if I get a phone call tomorrow, say for the two leagues to join back up. Yeah, and I've just won Newry and District Dart League. I would welcome it with both arms.
absolutely,
Definitely
yeah.
would.
I think it would be a great thing to happen in terms of the quality of darts going to go up and the competitiveness of different divisions. I suppose the one drawback of it is that Um, certainly the travel in that league would it certainly wouldn't suit me. I don't like traveling at all. Like I don't like
No,
going, you know.
there's a serious amount of travelling. There's a team from Tullyvallen, which is 5 mile the outside of Newton Hamilton.
Yeah.
There's a team from Moneyslane. There's a team from Rathfriland.
Hmm.
But the
Now,
other teams, there's a team in it there from the hockey club. There's a couple of teams from the Hunter Muir.
yeah,
There's a team from the Orchard.
the Masonic
We
Hall.
would yeah, we definitely if
Yeah.
they
Well, it's
wanted
good.
to
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
definitely.
It's good to know and just to have that conversation on here, and that, when people, if and when people are listening, at least they know that they'll be welcomed with open arms into the Newry and District Dart League, which is always a positive sign. And
Definitely would, but the only thing was, you see, when nobody's put the finger out saying that they wanted to come back with the on that season with the stipulations that they had, they weren't feasible. Like we couldn't
yeah.
start making teams go out on Wednesdays and all and replay them and
Hmm.
all that sort of stuff. Like both teams were fined. Like even the first and last were fined as well because they didn't fulfil the failure wasn't
Yeah.
finalised. Like it wasn't done. Like it wasn't fulfilled.
I can remember only a couple of years ago when Gaba North had a team in and they didn't fulfill a fixture and I think they had won some prize money for something, but the amount of fixtures they didn't fulfill, they got an empty envelope at the end of the year.
And then we got an envelope with a load of slips in it.
This is your fine.
Fine,
You still owe us this.
fine slips. It
Yeah.
was well the way that was passed at the committee as well. It was the only way that the committee thought they would have got the fines.
Yeah.
So
Of course, you have to understand that's the way of it. I suppose y- there's only like
some
that's
great throwers. There were some great throwers in that Gap of the North team that year too. So there
absolutely
was,
it was a tremendous team,
yeah.
and still remain great throwers, and some of them
Oh, they are,
still
yeah.
remain affiliated to Newry Darts, sort of scattered without other teams. Um,
Yeah, well, the current individual champion, John Donnelly,
yep,
and runner-up John Lawler.
yeah,
I know the two of them haven't through. Well, John might have played a couple of games this year in the Newry League,
yeah,
but
yeah, they haven't,
unfortunately, John Donnelly hasn't played any,
yeah.
which
Well,
which is it's a shame. Like,
it is, but I suppose everybody's got a unique personal circumstance, and whether or not they can commit themselves to doing Thursdays and
yeah,
Fridays
that's it.
is tough. I know there's a
I
lot.
played I played in the Dundalk League for a couple of years, and it was hard even getting lifts up to Dundalk and back and that there. So they're in the
Yeah.
same boat, getting lifts up and down to Newry and that. Like,
One thing that someone did actually send into us as a question, actually, so it's good that maybe we'll touch on that, is the with the amount of players now playing in multiple leagues on different nights and attending county darts and at a more serious level, or at least trying to do it at a more serious level. As we know, there's a number of people playing in the Louth team that are
yeah,
from, like they're based, their main league is the Newry League, but of course they play Dundalk Darts and some of them are even playing in other leagues as well, and then there's other people playing in Banbridge on Thursday nights and different things happening. Is there any scope at the start of the year where the committee would maybe look at the events calendar and look at the major events on the calendar and try and accommodate some of that? Because we know within the Premier League anyway in Newry that
What do
there
you mean accommodated? Like put a county team in, or
no, well, like accommodate. I think I can think of three teams, including our own, that have maybe two or three different men that go to county darts weekends, and that's how they do it in the south anyway. But also the likes of maybe Al McKnight, who was throwing for
oh,
Wiggins,
and
but throwing
work.
international
I know
duties and
what you
stuff.
mean, and work fixtures round them so they can go to them.
Yeah, so like is there the scope there to
The way
do that?
we
Like
the way
base,
we have it in the league, if two teams agree to call a game off
yeah,
for any reason, we're letting them do it. Like,
yeah. So
it's
you're
just in the Premier. It's just in the Premier Division this year. There seem to be a lot of teams digging their heels in and saying they weren't calling off
mm.
games for any reason
Well,
at all.
I know that certainly a lot of the Hibs men, and this was, I'm sure if any of them were listening back to this, they would 100% back it up. The previous year, with the Hibs, and your Noel was still throwing for the Hibs the previous year, and he would be able to tell you, like, I think with the amount of games that were called off for one reason or another, this, that, and the other, I think the lads had 6 games in 2 weeks or something crazy, and
Yeah, they had
they were playing every
three
Friday,
Wednesdays. They had
Wednesday
three.
in a
They
row.
had three
Yeah,
Wednesdays. They had 3 Wednesdays in a row and 3 Fridays in a row. And they were told if they didn't, which I was the one that had a ring with Tommy Mooney at the time and told them they were told if they didn't fulfil their fixtures by the last Friday, they wouldn't get to fulfil them.
that's right.
So that
So
was just the way it was.
But I suppose so. What your opinion would be, not the committees, of course, but what your opinion would be is that the teams sort that themselves. That's up to them as adults to
Unless
make the
unless it's
accommodations.
passed at an AGM, I think that All Ireland's this year is an Ennis if this season was an Ennis if I was right.
This year
Um,
was an Annis, yeah.
there was, if I can count off the top of my head, one, two, three,
I think there was 5 Newry men involved, was there?
5 Newry men on the Louth team. I would say out of that there, I looked at the cards that night. I think there was only two of them. Two of that 5 actually went to Ennis on the Friday.
Yeah, but again, and I suppose I'm playing devil's advocate. I know that some of them take their Newry darts very seriously and probably wanted to hang about for that, and thus giving up a weekend where they could get points in a ranking event on the Friday evening or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So I suppose they have a valid point.
It is, but Ennis will not affect the Newry League next year. So it's not, because it's not in Ennis, it's in Kales. It's
It's
only down the road.
yeah, aye, it's
It's in
moving. That's right.
Meath.
Yeah, it's in Meath. Yeah, which would be
So it'll,
better for
everybody will be travelling on the Saturday morning anyway.
yeah, be better for a lot of them.
A
Um,
lot of But if it ever did come, as you're saying, if there was a ranking event or anything, the league's open for all that there. We want as many of our players doing as well as they can.
of course,
We're
because
very lucky. We have a couple of great lady throwers in the league playing on Northern Ireland teams, and it would be great if I could get a few playing in the Republic of Ireland or the Northern Ireland teams in the darts as well, which would be
absolutely.
which would be brilliant. Like.
Well, that should be the aim, and we should all be supporting the men that are going to do it.
Yeah,
Um,
and when Yvonne and Anna was on the Northern Ireland team there, we had a big thing up on our Facebook page wishing them all the best and all, so
yeah, I remember
it's
saying
actually
that.
great. So
And Anna Madigan and Yvonne, I know myself and Damien, a couple of other guys, we were commentating on the international friendlies and stuff. Represented Newry Darts very, very well, actually.
yeah, yeah,
Um, particularly the fact that it's something that it's a Jekyll and Hyde thing with ladies darts, because for so many years it was kind of without being disrespectful to anybody, it was kind of looked at as a bit of a comedy act because
yeah,
it was painful to watch sometimes, and it was. Now, thankfully,
yeah.
over the past 5 years that I've seen it, it's improved dramatically. There's a lot more females in the Newry area getting involved.
It has, and we do it Newry's individuals, Newry ladies individuals, but we can see the numbers dropping in it.
Yeah,
There is a load of women playing, but there's a load of women won't play because of how, mainly probably because how good the likes of Anna, Jane Quinn, Yvonne Campbell and all are. Like.
yeah. Shout out to Denise McGinn, also who
Denise, yes,
Denise
she
was
got to the final. She
Denise
was a
was
runner-up.
Helen Fitzpatrick, former champ.
She was first winner of it.
You know, and Helen Fitzpatrick, I don't even know if she's still throwing my Bellinis. I know she
She
did
does,
for a
she
while.
does, she does,
She
she
was
still does, yeah.
a brilliant dart thrower, you know what I mean? And if
She
only,
beat she beat she beat Lorna Copeland in the first ladies final.
yeah, if she was, if Helen was sort of decided that she wanted to actually really dedicate herself to darts, she's as good as anybody in Newry, and that's
Oh,
fact. Like in terms
she
of
would
ladies darts,
she would
she's right up there. Like,
she would definitely make the Northern Ireland team
oh,
if she really
100%,
really if she
100%.
really tried. Like.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. She's brilliant, and I actually didn't know Helen, and I've known Helen from as a child. We grew up beside each other and spent many years hanging about with each other. But she, I didn't know she was into the darts in a big way until I had seen that she was playing Lorna Copeland in the ladies' final. I couldn't believe it.
And she's actually won the ladies final twice.
Yeah, and her dad Joe obviously played as well for years. He played for Boyd's
Yeah,
also, I think, at one point, did
played
he?
for he did, yeah, right.
So he did. Good man, Joe. So we're talking about, I suppose that the rooming for timing of, and you know, is there enough weeks to play games and different things? So I suppose the right thing to do is to get on to the current scenario and the current setup of what's happening.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a bit of a disaster at the minute, isn't it?
it's bound to be tough on the committee to try and understand how and what to do because there's
Oh,
so
don't get me wrong. We have looked at it. Like what we still are. We're looking at it on a weekly basis. Like at the minute, we've missed. There would have been no Darts Good Friday anyway. So
mhm,
at the minute, we've missed one
two,
round of knockout cup and two league games.
yeah,
So we're 3 weeks behind at the minute.
and announced today from the local government. I don't know if you've seen that, but announced today lockdown to continue for 3 to 4 weeks minimum. So I don't know if you've seen
Yeah,
that, but it was just this afternoon there it came up. So it puts us in a unique scenario where you're going to be potentially 5 to 6 weeks behind on schedules. Um, it's an
what the way the committee have it at the minute, and this just isn't me. This is a committee. Well, the majority of the committee
yeah.
have agreed that for this season there'll probably be no open individuals. Anybody that's entered it will get in free next year. For this season, there'll be no open pairs. Anybody that's entered it gets in free next year. It means that you're the winner again for another year, Miho.
That must be some sort of record. Is it the longest ever reigning pairs champion?
Yeah.
Something like that.
This isn't. This is what we've been talking about.
Yeah,
There'll be no knockout cup
yeah.
unless these can be squeezed in. So at the minute, the priority is to get the leagues finished
Hmm.
and get the Tom Hockey, Norman McCutcheon Cup, and sectional pairs and individuals finished.
Yeah.
Then five. Then five.
Um.
So we were thinking there's 5 league games left.
Hmm.
If they were played to the leagues, the winners and runners up and relegation were decided, and in the Tom Hockey and Norman McCutcheon, there's only one night, and in the sectional pairs and individuals, there's only one night because they're already down to the semi-finalists and the last eight
Yeah.
of the pairs and individuals. So that's only one night. So
Is it reasonable to do a finals night, but have it that with the facilities that are available, obviously, right, which we know are
that's what
excellent.
we've already been talking to Bellinis. We've been talking to Bellinis there within the past week.
Yeah,
There is a rumour going about Bellinis isn't opening. That's just a rumour.
of course.
I was talking to the right people that's involved in Bellinis, and they were saying that will definitely not be happening.
Yeah. With you know some of the suggestions, and I'll give you a few suggestions that came in, right? Um, all cup finals to be played in one night on Bellini's as a finals night.
For this season anyway,
Yeah,
Mihal, all sectional pairs and individuals were going to be played in Bellinis anyway,
yeah,
with the exception of the Premier Division, which was been played in Trainers and Camla.
yeah,
But the R4 divisions were all been played in Bellinis anyway,
yeah.
even if this hadn't happened.
Um, there was interesting one there. Somebody had said, "Is there room to play out all the cups rather than the league, as there may be too many weeks or fixtures for leagues?" I don't really know what it's like down in the other divisions, obviously, because of how the split works in
Most of the
our league.
division,
It's not as bad, but
no, most of the divisions is sewn up apart from the Premier with the stance that Boyd's have took. It's more or less sewn up.
yeah,
Uh, Division 1, not no disrespect to any of the other teams, the Hibs is 6 clear.
Yeah.
Divisions 2 is very tight. It can still be won by 3, possibly 4 teams. Hockey Club, Bosco A, to Cullen A, and probably an outside chance it'd be Quins. Still have a chance in the second division.
Yeah.
Division 3 is more or less sewn up, and Division 4 is still tight. There's still 3 teams, possibly 4 could win it.
So that's all obviously pending
It is. The longer
regulation.
this goes on, the less chance.
Less chance there is.
The way the committee is thinking at the minute is the pubs is going to need the darts when this comes back in.
Massively.
They've lost enough revenue. They're going to need the darts.
Yeah.
I've already had 4, possibly 5 phone calls from the proprietors of bars,
Yeah.
and even some of the managers in clubs have rang me, and clubs is run by with committees, like, and they've even rang and said, what is the story with the darts, like, and also with the committee's aim is to give a good chunk to charity as well. We've already been on to a few organisations about giving them something, but we still have prize money to give out, like,
of course,
for certain things and that there.
I don't know.
We sort of owe it to our sponsors, and we owe it to the pubs not to jump too quick and say that's it, done for the season, because there'll be no more darts apart from the Summer League until the end of September, start of October.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, agreed.
The Summer League only covers a certain amount of bars. It doesn't cover everyone, like. So.
Oh, definitely not. I think the Summer League, again, pending what happens. You know, if
I was already talking to Alexa Justy and that there, like, and it's we might need a week or 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, to get ours finished.
But then again, as we know, we can play about with dates as time goes. You know, the biggest. I suppose the biggest thing, and I don't know how much you heard of myself and Fester having a chat there over Easter. We had said, you know, if it were the case, obviously, as a committee, you would have to look at it and say, right, next year, a sponsor may say to you next year, listen, if something like that was to happen again, if there's a second wave of this, how can I give you X amount of dough? Some sponsors might not have the money after all this is over to give you. So some of that money that has come in, and I know the finances have been healthy over the past number of years, but at the end of the day, those finances have to hold up to a year without a sponsor, if that is the case, you know.
Yeah. The way we look at teams' entry fees, a team pays £130 into the league.
Yeah.
The way we sort of look at that is you get 13 home games, maybe 12 home games for that. So you're getting a home game for what, £12 a night. If there's a team, that's the way we sort of look at it, which is cheap. Like, you have 20 men drinking in your bar for £12. That's the way we sort of look at it. Like,
yeah,
so
for any publican, like, there's no doubt about it. The darts league brings a massive amount of trade to pubs and clubs. Like, there's some pubs and clubs probably do better out of it than others, because, you know, depending on where you're at, what team you're in, there's some, the likes of, say, McGee's, there are 2 or 3 teams, you know, all good drinkers, all, you know.
Like, I've been talking to a few publicans, and they would say a good Friday night near pays the bar staff for the week. Like.
Well, that's the reality of it, and it's the same whenever the Summer League's running. That, you know, bars that have been, in fairness, supporting us many years, they jump at the chance to have it. They know it's going to be a good night. Like, the Summer League, as you know, over a number of years has brought a massive following with it now, and you know, there's generally 2 to 3 weeks within there, you're nearly guaranteeing 50 plus people, and you're like, that's like having a private function. Like, there's very few bars on a Friday night will have 50 plus people in them nowadays. You know,
for buttons, the proprietor gives buttons, yeah.
You know, but they do get it back.
They do easy.
So yeah, well, look, at least we know that's where you are thinking of going with it, and I'm sure as time goes on, you can update.
We can only look at it on a week to week, and the way we sort of have come now, you can't have darts if the bars aren't open. The bars is going to be the last open in all this.
They will surely, yeah, 100%.
And it all depends whatever restrictions they put on the bars. They might say no more gatherings than 20. So, like, if you bring 20 dart players in plus the regulars that's there, you can't have darts. You're breaking the law. So
correct.
We need to talk to the publicans again. Like,
yeah.
Because there will be fines. There will be fines and all give out if they're caught with more in it. Like.
Massively, yeah, yeah.
So like this just isn't going to go away. This thing, this is.
No, it's here to stay at the minute anyway, and the likelihood is it'll be about for a bit. Um, so another question coming in, and now these questions have come in. I'll tell you
No,
now.
I don't mean you work away.
There's four sources of questions have come in, right? Two of the lads Premier League, one second division, one first division. I think it's second division, it might be two first division, but um, transfer window. Do you think a transfer window would benefit the league based on the number of players
Personally,
that
personally,
don't get
no.
games? No.
I don't think it would. It'd be different there maybe if a player was sitting and wasn't getting a game, but you're taking away one player from one. Like say that you had a player there that was playing every week for a team and winning, and
Yep.
then all of a sudden he sort of fell out with the team and he wanted to go and sign for somebody else who was challenging that team.
Yeah.
That would be a hard one. Like you just couldn't. There would need to be a transfer fee that goes to charity, and it would need to be a good, just not a tenner. Like it would need to be a good
Yeah. Well,
50 quid or something.
there's certainly within the question that was given. I suppose I just give the top line of the question, but within that was obviously there would be a fee contributed to
No,
the
but like
league
here's
or
an owl
whatever it
one.
may be.
What if a team struggling with 7 players
Hmm.
every now and again only getting 8, and the best player in the team throws his head up and says, "I can't be arsed with this anymore. Like
Yeah.
we're only getting 7 players every week," and then all of a sudden he wants to move to the NA team. That's killing that team. That's putting that team down to 6 plus they've lost their top player.
Yeah. There's a lot of connotations to how you would do that, I suppose. Personally, for me, I think it could be looked at but
Maybe
it would have to have a
maybe
stringent set of rules around it, like
maybe
i.e.
maybe 14 players signed for a team's too many. That's why there's players sitting about.
Maybe so. Maybe you should get that reduced to 12.
Maybe
8 and 4,
14 could be too many.
9 and 3. I mean, like 12 should be plenty for people to be able. Like 14 is almost two full squads if you put it that way.
Yeah, and
Do,
now 2 players, and that's 2 teams of 8.
do you know what I mean?
Maybe
So,
that's something to look at. Yeah.
but again, let's look. It's a question that was put out. You've given your opinion on it. Fair enough. Um, how many protests have ever been upheld to the committee in your time?
What do you mean? Like, explain.
So the question is, can you ask Liam how many protests that have gone into the committee have ever been upheld for the team putting the protest in?
This season, many protests were in this season. There wasn't any protests in this season. There was just a few letters of complaint about certain individuals. Last season, there was two came in, and the team that put the protest in won both of them. So there's two. There was two last year.
So generally speaking, more
More, I
more
would
than not.
more or less. No, it depends. If it's a good genuine one, like there was one there last year. I'll say it. I'll not mention any teams, but there was a team wanted to make a sub,
Yeah.
and the team that they were playing told them they weren't allowed to make the sub. But you're allowed to make a sub at any time.
Yeah.
So the team that wasn't allowed to make the sub put a protest in saying they wouldn't let us make a sub.
Yeah.
So it affected the result.
Right.
Uh, the team that wouldn't let them put the thing in 1-5-3. The team that weren't allowed to make the sub were lost 5-3. So
Yeah.
we told the A team that they were wrong. You can make a sub at any time, and the result within is 4 each.
That's an
So
interesting one. The result changed rather than. But I suppose you can't play a leg. You know what I mean? Yeah, they replay a full
the
game or
result
whatever.
within
You
is
can.
4 each. Like
Yeah.
it was one of the better players was coming late. They had him down as a sub, and he
Yeah.
arrived. And they had a buy that was only a stop. It was only on if they were ever stuck.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let him play the sub. So that result actually changed. That was a whole committee decided not there. That was a full committee meeting. The full committee was there and we voted on it, and it was unanimous that the result was changed that way.
Fucking interesting one that.
Which everybody knows you can make a sub at any time. You can name 2 subs and make them at any time.
There's a good one there.
So
There's a question's just come in. Uh, can you mention the exhibitions like Michael Smith, etc.? Might get more people to go to them now you are putting the word out. Just a thought. Uh, do you think exhibitions
like
are well supported in the area?
Like, there have been. Like, the Michael Smith one's obviously cancelled. It was meant to be in the 25th of April.
Yeah,
I think you done the last two big ones, did you, Michal,
I
as
did.
MC?
I
The
did. Yeah, the Gary
Gary
Anderson,
Anderson, which was a great night.
brilliant. Yeah, and Barney was a good
And
night too. It was
Barney
just
was a good night. It wasn't as many there. The
smaller
room was a
crowd.
bit smaller,
Yeah,
but smaller crowd. But it was still as good. And he still Gary Anderson one was brilliant, and
yeah,
Gary was a good lad too. So he was very good, even to the young fellas in the audience and everything. He was very good to them.
yeah.
So
I have to say, but the Barney one surprised me a bit because a lot of people had said to me prior to the Barney one, like, "Ah, he's a bit of a miserable shite, you know. He's a bit of a." I didn't find
no, he
that at
sat
all.
there.
I thought he was dead on,
He
you
sat
know.
there and he sat and he answered any question anybody asked him.
Yeah,
Even if he didn't like the dart player that he was talking about, he said he didn't like him. He
yeah.
didn't agree with. He didn't agree with some of his antics, and
He was up there with.
it's very good.
He was up there and very honest about his retirement, about speaking about his wife and family, and it was actually it was a really good night that. And again, I suppose it all depends on who you're into. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want to go to an exhibition for Peter Wright. A lot of people would. I just don't get it with Peter Wright. I think he's a phenomenal dart thrower, but the
He
personality
doesn't
thing,
do he doesn't he doesn't do exhibitions anyway.
you know.
So
Yeah. Well, there you go.
well, at
Time
some
saved.
stage, well, at some stage he will. I'd say like,
Of course he will.
but I was looking forward to the Michael Smith one,
Yeah.
but
But
it's postponed. He has told us that
he'll
he'll
come
arrange an
back.
odd date. He'll an odd date to come over like, but
Yeah. Oh, he
we'll
definitely will.
see. Hopefully.
Let's see. I'm looking through the questions here to see if there's anything really nasty in there for you, you know.
Ask away at any of them and answer them all as
A,
best I can.
a lot of them are all we've sort of covered. They're centered around, you know, what the league's position is, what we think we're going to do, depending on the COVID-19 situation. So a lot of them
I'll
are
just
sort
go
of
through that
covered.
again. Our priority this season is to try and finish what we can.
Yeah,
It's all we can do. We sort of think, well, we do. We owe it to the landlords and the pubs, and we owe it to our sponsors to try. But if we can't get it done, we can't get it done. But we'll be trying our best. Our main priority at the minute is to get the sectional pairs and individuals, get the league space we can, and the Tom Hockey and Norman McCutcheon Cups were already down to the semi-final stages anyway, and the ladies individuals will only take one night as well.
yeah,
So people have been contacting me and saying, if you do cancel the open pairs and individuals, what is going to happen on finals night? So the committee have been talking about that too. So at the minute we'll probably be playing the ladies individual final, the Norman McCutcheon Cup, and the Tom Hockey Cup on finals night.
fair enough.
That's the plan. That's the plan at the minute.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. Um, so let's get back to you as an individual, right? Because we've covered a lot of committee stuff there, and we've covered a lot of ground around, um, I suppose, controversies that have come up in the league or whatever that as a committee as have had to deal with. Um, you as an individual playing darts in Uri have experienced the best and worst in dart throwers. Uh, so you've been the captain of numerous winning teams for many years. Probably get sick of doing it at times. I remember one year you brought in a manager even when you were captain, and
Yeah,
I was playing.
Jerry.
No, it wasn't Jerry that year.
Who was that? Who was it that year? It
It,
was Jerry Matthews down in McCoy's.
well, I remember now. Jerry stayed.
Oh, I do. I remember. Dermot.
Yeah. So tell us about
that
the infamous
had,
trainers manager. Now remember
had a
that's the year we
had a sack him after 2 weeks.
that's the year we won the league with the team. So
Had
what?
a sack him. He started giving inspirational speeches and everything.
God Almighty!
Says he can't be putting up with this.
I remember distinctly looking at Darren Carroll, Justy McCavitt, and staring at the two lads when we were sitting at a table up in trainers. And I'll give a shout out to Mark Trainer, huge supporter of the Dart League,
Definitely
up
is.
in
Yeah.
trainers bar, massive supporter of it. And
That was the third. That was the third different team he had up there.
yeah,
So it was.
we'll get back to one of those other teams in just a minute. The all conquering team, but for now, so I'm stern at, and remember I've been brought in the year before with Justy as a kind of as our team sort of broke away in Boyd's at the time. We weren't getting the numbers, and a few things had happened, and the team wasn't really together. And a few other lads had said they were going to be moving on to do different things, and we ended up going up to trainers, up to yourselves. And first year, really enjoyed. Good year. Well, I think we lost the league on the last night against
Last night,
against the
all we
Clockmore
needed,
Inn.
we had it. We went down to Clackmore. We needed to win the league. A draw would have got us a playoff,
Yeah, and we
and
got
we
stuffed.
actually were beat.
We got stuffed. We got.
Yeah,
I remember one of the team members saying that if we're beat,
the Indo beat the first and last.
yeah, one of the team members said if we're beat, we'll walk home, and he didn't walk home, but he was very annoyed. Um, but anyway,
Yeah,
regardless of that, I remember the following year, uh, manager Dermot was in, and he was introduced. Now, obviously,
yeah,
he brought some talent with him, no doubt. Um,
he did. He definitely did. Yeah,
but what was like? Can you
took
recount?
him in.
Can you
I'll be
recount
honest.
any of the? Can you recount any of those
Took him
speeches?
in. I took him in to relieve the pressure on myself because I wanted to concentrate on throwing a bit more. But for them 2.5, 3 weeks, it actually put more pressure on myself. I could feel my head ready to explode every week.
Yeah,
So
the
I could with the stuff.
the
That was it.
Pearson eyes of two open individual winners, multiple league winners, Tom Hockey winners, like serial winners that were in that team. By the way, there was a multitude of serial winners in that team. A great team it was, but the look of absolute confusion and anger on their
Oh,
faces as this guy was telling us to believe in yourselves and believe in the dart will do what you want the dart to do. Just tell it.
yeah.
Like some of the craziest things I've ever heard. But um, he didn't last
Help the
too
dart, and the
long.
dart will help you.
Yeah,
No, but I was sort of looking at. I was looking too. I was listening to everything, and I was saying, if he doesn't go, we'll have no team in a couple of weeks.
yeah, probably right.
So
And in fairness, a couple of packets of potato, cheese, and onion later, and uh, he was settled. But they were interesting times. They were interesting times. The all conquering team that you're a part of, Geisty, Kevin McVerry, PK, yourself,
that was a great team we had that year. Yeah,
you've won everything there
yeah,
was to
yeah.
win in darts that year. You
We
were
won the league. Won the league. We won the Tom Hockey. There has been teams that's won everything domestically, but nobody's ever won it and won the Norman McCutcheon that year. Norman McCutcheon's only in the league about 12 or 13 years. Uh, we won the who? Paddy Kearney won the Open Individuals. Myself and Kevin McVerry won the Open Pairs. Ray Campbell won the Sectional Individuals, and Ray Campbell and Paddy Kearney won the Sectional Pairs. And then we won all the team events. We were actually awarded a special award by the council. We had like one of them civic reception sort of things.
that's right.
And we were
Remember that?
awarded
Yeah,
an award down in the Canal Court. Big dinner, short and tie job. We all went to it. We were awarded an award for it. So
do,
it was very good.
do you think it got that award and the profile of that team, do you think it brought a few more eyes to darts around the town? Like
Look,
in
it did lots
as
of
in
people. We were
respect of the not just the significance of what you had achieved, but the fact of the scale of the darts league. Like or at that point
that team.
the darts league was the
That team
biggest in
actually.
Europe, I think, or at least the UK, biggest amateur darts
It's,
league in the
it
UK
still
at that
is.
time.
It still is the biggest dart league in the UK
Yeah,
with teams and members not there. But I think it's second in Europe at the minute. There's a league in Holland has a couple of teams more. So
yeah, which
we're
is
not. We're going. That team out in trainers actually came together by an accident, like so it did. With McCoy's actually born and down the follow over the year before it.
yeah,
We were looking for a venue
yeah.
and
I sent you
Mark
a
Trainer,
message on Facebook. I'll never forget it. I sent you a message on Facebook and said nobody throws out a bides upstairs.
yeah, Mark Trainer had rang and says he would take us out to Camla.
Yeah,
There was a room out the back. He would give us it. So it just happened to be we were playing Mark's team in McCoy's the Friday night before it burnt down,
yeah,
and the boys all get on well with Mark. Ray Campbell and all was all over talking to him. Paddy Kearney and all was talking to him with great crack with him. And so we put it the boys to say today, sure we'll go out there for the season anyway. at that time everybody thought McCoy's would be fixed back up and all together, and we would be back the following year. So there was two teams in McCoy's. No, but there was actually three. McCoy's had a C team as well. I think the C team went up to the Indo, and McCoy's A and McCoy's boys, John Morgan, Billy Havern, Paddy Marks, a few boys from Dundalk, Tommy Hockley and all, Gary Quinn, John Quinn, the Dub, they were all in the McCoy's boys team. They all came out to trainers as well.
That's right. Yeah.
So we enjoyed our year out in trainers, and there was no sign of McCoy's getting done up. So we decided we'd stay the following year, and then that's when we got stronger. We had the same team that was in McCoy's that went out to trainers, and Tommy Lackman and Micheál McKeown was added to the team, and we got Donald Fagan to come out as well, and Ray Campbell had already signed for some McCoy's, so when he came out, and then we got Geisty. Ray won a through darts with Geisty internationally, and knew him well over the years, thrown a big competitions and all, so he got Andy to come out.
And that's something that I'd said to Fester I wanted to actually ask you, is that over the years you've had, as a captain, you have had some teams with players that, as far as Newry Darts goes, boys wouldn't know these, you know what I mean, these players, and you're seeing a wee bit of it still happening in Newry, but certainly not well, for me.
I had some great team, probably one of the best. Like, that was a great team we had there that went out to trainers, but see the team we had up in the Bears, when I started really thrown in the Premier Division, Tucker McCabe, Chinky McCabe, Rancho McCabe, Oliver McCall, Jerry Madigan, we had great teams up there, so I did.
And whenever it's something that comes across me, would you as a captain rely on, to a certain extent, and I suppose you did touch on it there with Ray Campbell, but like the recommendation of other players that you've brought into the team, saying, look, I know a lad who's...
No, I wouldn't be afraid to ring a player and ask him. He's only going to say no.
Yeah.
I have rang loads of players and asked them. He's not going to jump down the phone at you. The majority of players... I have had loads of people refuse me as well, like over the years.
Of course, yeah.
Even to come out to that, even to come out to that trainers team that we had out in Camera. Some brilliant players that have went on to win individuals in Newry.
Yeah.
But they're only going to say no to you, like.
What do you make of accusations that players hide in certain divisions?
No. I could name loads of players that are well fit to throw in the Premier Division. I could even name... I'm down there in the third division. I'm enjoying it. I'm playing with a great bunch of fellas. I'm not hiding down there. I only went down 2 years ago. I played 25 years in the Premier Division. Like.
Oh, yeah,
And won loads of stuff. But because them boys raised that money for charity, and some of them now's my best mates, like.
Yeah.
And I wasn't just going to walk away. I wasn't going to say, right, after 1 year, you've raised that certain amount of money for charity, see years later, I'm away to throw my darts with somebody else.
Yeah. So
I enjoyed throwing darts with him. And then you could even go up into the second division there, like Sean Judge for one.
Yeah.
Brilliant thrower. There's a few boys playing out in the hockey club there. Mervyn McKnight and all are all well fit to be thrown up in higher divisions, but they're playing with their mates. Yeah. Sean Judge thrown for Fort Hill. He lives across the road from the club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you have Shamey Rice, probably in my eyes one of the top throwers still in there, even though he's got a sore shoulder and sore elbow, and he's a great thrower and he's a great man, like, and he's well fit for the Premier Division. But loves it in Ballyhole, and probably if Ray didn't, or if Shamey didn't throw for Ballyhole, and Ray Campbell and all's even playing up in Ballyhole now, but they're playing with their mates.
Yeah.
So they are.
And so something that I suppose did cause a wee bit of controversy this year, certainly in the pub that I throw out of, do you think at times, and of course, look, and this isn't just pointed at a question at you, but certainly at the committee as a whole, there has to be times when I suppose the committee will stand up and say, look, yeah, we made a bad call there. Boyd's signing Eugene and Gary and being put up from, I think they finished fourth maybe in the third division.
Third or fourth, yeah. And they beat the Workermen's in the final of the Knockout Cup.
Yeah, but they were put into the division above, and
all that stuff was looked at the start of the year. They were playing for Maddens in the first division.
Yeah.
And Gary, Eugene, and Sean
Hmm.
Kern left Maddens and went to the third division team.
Yeah.
And then you had Peter Cunningham, who was on Boyd's A sheet, right? Yes, he didn't play for Boyd's A, but he was on Boyd's A sheet the year before as well, who were in the Premier. And then his name went on a third division sheet.
Yeah.
There's four from 2+ divisions above,
Hmm.
plus that team won the knockout cup was the only reason why that team was put off.
It, it,
People will say, right, the worker mains finished second. The worker mains kept the exact same team and signed two boys who were in the fourth, who were getting relegated to the fourth division.
yeah. Now, that being said, and I appreciate
Yes, I know
where you're
what you're
coming
going to
from,
say.
but
Worker mains are run the way with the third division. So in hindsight, it was a bad call.
yeah. Now, and not
It was a
even just
call that
that,
was
but
made at the start.
there was the discovery of a young upstart who seems to be a, an all rounder, can play music, can play pool, can play darts, can fucking
But
run
I've learned him everything he knows.
run run marathons. I'm sure he'd be loving to be called out on this. But got the last eight of the Open individuals, got the semi-final Open pairs for yourself last year, um, or the year before. You know what I'm talking about. Which year I'm talking about? Uh,
Got to the last eight of the Newry City Open.
got the last eight in Newry City Open, and this guy is held in. He's held in secret, and it's something that. And again, look, I have sat on the fence quite
Harry,
a
I
bit.
know everybody.
But I've
Everybody
also
knows of
said
it.
I've also said multiple times, how the fuck does Liam Bradley find these people? How does every team he go into have somebody that nobody knows who's a
Well,
fucking
I'll tell you the
superstar, you
truth.
know?
I'll tell you the truth here.
That's the reality,
Harry,
like.
Harry, Harry actually called up to my house yesterday morning for a set of darts because he doesn't own a set of darts.
Right.
He called up to my house yesterday morning for a set of darts. The heaviest. I threw a 35s, and he wanted a heavy set, so I gave him. He's a set of darts. He's away there with a set of 26s.
Doesn't own a set of
So
darts.
doesn't own a set of darts. That year that he got to the it was last year that he got to the last eight of the Newry City Open, he had a run up to McGuigan's to get a set of darts that was sitting behind the bar. Because I didn't bring my darts with me because I was helping run the competition.
Mental. I don't have anything else to say about it. He's clearly got natural ability. He's a very good thrower, and yet again, boys sitting scratching their heads, going like, "Where on earth has Liam Bradley
I'll
found
tell you
a
what, there's
fucking
an owl one.
superstar?"
There's an owl buddy playing for McCoy's there, or not, with the workermen's. Shane McKeown.
Yeah, I've heard a
This is
bit
only
about
his sec.
Shane. Yeah,
This is only his second year throwing darts.
yeah, it's going to be a good
And
one.
he's going to be a great thrower, but
Um,
so he is.
what about players that had it all, but didn't keep it up? Like over 28 years, you're bound to know,
Oof.
like ones that you looked at. Like I can think of like the twins, right? That
Yeah,
play both Robert and uh,
there are probably
Mark.
two that you would. I always thought like Mark won a European
You
title
used tour
underage
event, yeah.
youth. Yeah, and I don't know, he just stopped. But once he hit 18, he stopped. Whether it was drinking women, I don't know.
Couldn't get
He
back
just
out the
stopped.
darts. You sacked his da.
Yeah, he just stopped, and he was a great thrower.
Brilliant, yeah, yeah. I remember
So
him
he
coming
was
down to a
like
summer league night one night and
like we all
absolutely
we were
destroying
very
people.
lucky. We seen the likes of King Borey and all, and I always thought that King, when he got to a certain age, he would have it would have hit him too. Do you know, with growing, the way his darts hit the board,
Yeah,
I was saying when he grew, he's just getting better and better.
yeah, yeah.
So he
Very,
is.
very much so. Yeah,
We were very lucky. Like I remember, me and you would have went to competitions when Nathan Rafferty was going to Camelot and all and whopping all around him, and he was only a child too, like
yeah. Oh, yeah. And I will tell you,
15.
I still go to competitions where his children whopping me, but that's that's a
There's one there. There's one from years like Niall McVerry.
aye.
I remember him going to the summer league and winning 4 or 5 summer leagues every year,
Yeah,
4 or 5 grading each, and then with the pressure of it just got too much for him, and
yeah.
and he took with arthritis.
Yeah. And in fairness to Niall, like he actually was coming back last year, coming back well. He tried to throw through the dartitis, which some say is a good thing to do, some say don't do it. But like at the end of the day, the lad loves his darts and trying massively to keep going
But he's
through.
taken a year out. He's taken a year out this year,
Yeah,
and hopefully he finds the right team for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
When you have dartitis, I think you need a sign for a team that you're not. There's no pressure on you to win every week.
absolutely.
Pressure has a lot got to do with dartitis. I think
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
the pressure to win. Nell would have signed for teams there, maybe in the first division or something, where he was the standout player, and there's too much pressure. Nell's on last. We're sure here to get a win, or we're sure to get a draw. And then the yips just come in, and that's his head goes in.
yeah,
So hopefully he comes back next year and finds the right team for him, whether it be in the second or first division or whatever. Give himself a year or two, and then
yeah.
hopefully he can get it back. Because he was a great thrower. Like.
Brilliant thrower,
But
yeah.
you see, but you see
Maybe he's down
player,
McCoy
you
too.
see, you see players like that. Darts is a confidence thing. There's Jared McCartney. He thinks a brilliant thrower.
Yeah,
But you see, when Jared's lacking in confidence,
yeah.
Jared can't throw straight.
Mm. Yeah, I suppose
He's lacking in confidence.
like any of us, you get through a period of confidence and you get through purple patches, as they say. You feel that
But
you
I
can
know players
take on
there.
the
I know
world.
players there that throw. I know players there that play because I've played with that many that can be absolutely brutal. And you see the next week when they walk in, they're a completely different person.
Oh, yeah, but
You
it's
know what I
all
mean?
a lot of it, as people say, it's on the night. Practice routines, as you say, like you've been doing a bit of practice because we're in lockdown, and your darts are improving because you're putting it in. You
Yeah,
know.
but do you see if the Dutch started back up again next week? I
Uh,
wouldn't get near the board.
no, of course not. No, because you'd have too much else to
The
do.
Dutch would be in the case. The Dutch would be in the case, and my glasses, I always get my glasses and put an elastic band around them so they're around the case so I don't forget my glasses. I can't throw darts now out the glasses.
Turning into Gary Anderson.
Oh, it's cat. And I do the same as him. I hit the frame with him and everything, but it's still, but confidence has a lot got to do with
It does surely.
darts.
Who?
Best player I ever played with was Tucker McCabe. And you see the confidence that he would have even give other people standing around him
Yeah,
was unbelievable. Like. You went to the board some Friday nights feeling 10 foot tall, like,
yeah. And that was
practicing with him.
a lot of that. A lot of that comes into the players that you are playing with. Like you, and just to go back to Nal's scenario there, I suppose when you're throwing in a team with Tucker or whatever, and I've thrown in teams, the team I'm throwing in now, where boys will fill you with confidence because they believe in you, that they've seen what you can do, and before your games they're going to tell you, look, there's no bother, you just go and throw your stuff, and you know what I mean.
It's just the simple
They're
things.
building you up. Whereas in Niall's position, potentially, people are saying, please help us, and it's a different type of pressure. It's a completely different type of pressure when
Yeah,
somebody is saying, looking at you as the only one, you're the only one that can help us here,
yeah,
rather than listen, if you could beat it, doesn't matter because all the rest of us are going to win. And
yeah.
that's the beauty of when you're throwing in a team that's top of the league, this is in any division. When you're throwing teams top of the league, you have a boy coming in behind. You're not looking over your shoulder because you know the boy behind you could win. So that's a big thing.
Jerry Madigan was another one like that would have filled you with confidence as well. Thrown. Jerry was one of them ones you just knew that once he put his bomber jacket on before he played, you knew he was going to just hit everything all around him. Like.
Yeah, good thrower, like good
Oh,
thrower,
brilliant,
no doubt about it.
brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant thrower. So look, we're running out of time, but I wanna touch on a couple of other things before we go. Firstly, um, who who do you really not like throwing when you're having to play somebody? Who?
I'll be honest, I've played Arnold and I've played Damien a few times in league games and all, and I don't like playing any of the two of them.
Yeah,
It's hard, like,
just family
because I like to
rivalry.
see them. No, but even it's not even the rival. You want to see them throwing well as well. I hate playing. Like I played Damien one night and he threw absolutely dirt.
Yeah,
And you're actually saying to them, "Come on, you can throw better than that." Like,
yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah,
and,
fair enough. And lastly, then, what does the future hold for you and Newry Darts? Many more years as secretary, or
well, if there's somebody else wants to do it, tell you, somebody wants to come to the AGM and do it, they're welcome. I don't mind doing it. I used to take me hours doing it. You see, there on a Saturday.
yeah.
Used to take up the whole. Like I've left christenings, I've left weddings, I've even left my child's holy communion. I was doing Godfather for a lad's young fella, and the mass was at 5 o'clock, and I was still in McGuigan's at 5:10. You know what I mean?
Dedication.
Collecting result cards. So it does take up a lot of time, but I don't mind. I have it off now to the fine art, and if anybody else wants to do it, I'll definitely give them a hand for a year or two till they get going.
Yeah, well, I think at the
But
minute, as much as people will bitch about you, and me included, I think overall everybody respects the job that you do because you do keep it running as cleanly as any league that there is at the minute. Definitely from my perspective, yeah, some improvements over the past few years, doing open draws on the night in certain
we're
competitions.
very, we don't know, we're very lucky. We're very lucky with Bellinis.
We
You know
are,
what I
yeah,
mean? We're very lucky with people like Mark Trainer.
yeah,
You know what I mean? We
massively,
don't,
yeah,
and we have a lot of people in the town that you could just lift up the phone. Like if I lifted up the phone and rang the likes of Justy McKevin or something, definitely would give. People we have good people like
oh,
in the town
massively,
that
yeah,
love darts, and we're very very lucky to have the likes of Bellinis and trainers born Kilma.
yeah, and
Plus the numerous boys that help us out, the likes of Boyd's, Newry Fosters, Windmill Bar, McGee's, Jared McGuigan for letting us have the result back. So we're very, very lucky. We don't know how lucky we are. That's why probably when we say we're trying to, with this COVID-19, not trying to make a rash decision on it, but we think we do owe something back to them people that will need the darts when this is over, even if it's just getting 2 or 3 Friday nights in a row just to kick them off when this is over. Like,
yeah.
but at the end of the day, the darts will not start back to the pubs is open and until we're safe and told to do so. Like, so
Yeah, no, fair and valid points. Well, listen, we've run out of time, but
no problem.
I just want to say thanks very much for coming on. Good,
No
good,
problem.
good honesty from you. I'm sure we'll have you on again
Yeah.
at some point in the
Yeah, if you want
future.
me on again in a few weeks for another update, I'll soon come back on.
Yeah,
So there's no
absolutely,
problem.
no, absolutely. Listen, appreciate your time. Thanks very much for doing it. I'm sure everybody will enjoy listening. So,
No problem, Michal. Thank you.
no bother.
Cheers. Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye bye.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye
Bye
now.
bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.